Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I would do if I had to start all over from scratch. Exactly what I would do to get money flowing faster, because we know we're not all about that jobby life, right? We need to get that money coming in quick. Many of you are in a spot where maybe you've made some, you've gotten either stuck at a certain point where it's still a respectable amount, but it's not where you want to go. You've reached a certain level that you can't get past it. Some of you are at a point where it's really not moved at all, and you're not quite sure why. You don't know what you're doing wrong. You don't know what you're missing. You keep using, I need to figure it out as your action plan. That is not figuring it out is not an action plan. I get where that comes from mentally. It's like the word trying. I don't hate the word. It depends how it's used. But when someone goes, well, I guess I'll just keep trying. Okay. You know, trying's not a bad thing. At least I know you're willing and you're going to do it. But just trying and throwing spaghetti at a wall and hope it sticks, that's called insanity. I spent a lot of time doing that in my first business. That's why in the first 18 months of having that business, I only landed 2 clients, and I was an award-winning sales expert, and I only landed 2 clients. And that other company I have I already had a ton of warm leads. These were not cold leads. I don't cold call. It's not my jam. I highly respect people who love it and who can do it. I don't cold DM, not my deal. So these were warm leads. These were people who already knew of me in the industry. I had a great reputation. I still do. And I still couldn't close them. I still couldn't get the deal. And I'm a pretty effective communicator. This is why I teach a lot of the stuff that I teach, because if you don't have an actual plan, plus have the mindset management that we must put in place daily to manage these crazy ass brains of ours, it's not going to connect. You need to have both. You need to be doing the internal work and the strategic work for this to pay off, for you to truly scale, for you to have a sustainable business versus a hot month here or there, a business you can actually depend on that gives you life-changing cash. You guys are after a lifestyle change. It's what the cash can buy. It's what the money can buy. It's not like you're a money-hungry person or you're all about money, but it's what that can buy. It buys you options. It buys you freedom of time. It buys you extra avocado on your salad. It buys your kids better education. It buys you nicer vacations. It can buy you better medical care. It gives you so many options. And anyone who says money doesn't matter, I have to go off on a tangent on this a little bit. Anyone who tells you money doesn't matter, maybe it's something you even say to yourself. Well, money doesn't matter. The most important thing isn't money. Money is the root of all evil. People are focused too much on the money and not on helping people. Okay, well, those people either A, are broke, or B, have never been broke. And C, have never been rich. Because let me tell you, I've been broke and I'm rich. And when you're broke, you damn straight you need money. Because it keeps you up at night. It causes you lots of stress. It affects your personality. It affects the people around you. It sucks. It makes you feel disempowered. It makes you feel less than. It makes you feel scared all the time. It makes you feel helpless, trapped, and controlled. That's one of my biggest passions, is helping you guys make your own money so you no longer have to depend on a person, place, job, or institution for cash ever again. There's nothing more empowering. On the rich side, you realize when you reach a certain amount of wealth, where I could go buy that Louis Vuitton bag. I could buy a Birkin bag if I want. I think they're like, what are they? 30 grand, $35,000, like for the cheapest one. I can go do that. I bought myself one of the Cartier love rings as a beautiful sentiment to myself this year, right? I know I can buy the stuff, but because I know I can afford it, now I don't feel like I have to buy it. When it was a big stretch to afford it, that's when I wanted all those things. And believe me, I still love nice shit, but I'm no longer like coveting it. Is that a word? That sounded weird. Whatever. 0 fucks given. Oh, I noticed a trend with a lot of top podcasts. Most of them are rated clean and I'm rated explicit. And I'm like, should I stop swearing? I'm like, I try not to swear unless I'm making a point, but it's like, should I stop swearing? Because these people are rated clean. And some of these people are rated clean and they swear. It's like, you know what? I don't want to be rated clean. I am explicit, damn it. I'm explicit. I'm provocative. And screw that. But I saw that recently and I was like, oh, maybe I need to like replace certain words with others. And I was like, no, you start affecting my freedom of speech. You're not gonna get the gold. But when you have a lot of money, you're able to do beautiful things. I awarded quite a few beautiful new entrepreneurs half scholarships and a full ride scholarship to Selling with Soul. Shout out to all my Selling with Soul 2022 students. Congratulations. Today is day 1. And I know many of you are listening to the episode and I want to acknowledge you for doing that for yourself and doing the scary thing and trusting me to be your guide and be your coach and to take you to where I know all of you can go. But because of the wealth I've created, I'm able to pay it forward and offer $100,000 a year I give in scholarships to my programs. I get to do that because I make enough and I'm in pure abundance where I can still live. My lifestyle's not affected by doing that. That's why it's so important to make big money. And on top of it, I still can donate all the money I donate to building safe houses for sex trafficked women and children. That's the power of it. So any of you who start kind of feeling, God, I know I want to help people, but I really need money. And then you have guilt or weirdness about wanting the money and it gets all confusing in there. If you don't want the money, you shouldn't listen to this podcast. If you don't want the money, you should not hire me. I need you to want the money. You should want the money. We need the money. This is a highly powerful currency, and there's an ambulance going by. I'm going to have to press pause. Okay, I'm back. I have no idea what that was about. They put on a little bleep of a siren, and then they disappeared. So here's what I would do if I had to start all over from scratch. Of course, hindsight is 20/20. But the best people to learn from are those who have already done it for a long time and are willing to share all their mistakes and secrets. So we know I don't information hoard over here. You don't have to pay me to learn from me. Now, if you really want to get results and you want customized help, you want direct help, then yeah, you got to pay my ass. But you don't have to. You could binge all of my stuff and get really damn far. Without a doubt, you can binge my stuff. And if you really implemented everything I taught you, you could for sure get to at least $15,000 a month. But most of you end up in my programs are hiring me because you need more than that. You don't know what you're missing. And you also need that sense of accountability. Oh, by the way, my March applications are now officially open for my exclusive 2-month private business coaching program. The link is in the show notes, so you can swipe up and get that. The link is also in my bio on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. Now, I only take 6 private clients at a time, so just keep that in mind in terms of applying. And if I think we're a good fit and I can get you to where you want to go, then I will take you on. If I don't think we're a great fit and that's not really the best place for you to spend your time, energy, and money right now, you'll also know that. So you'll know that because you won't get an application that's accepted. And it's not in a rude way, but I can only take on the people who I know are here for it. And it's usually really damn evident in the application if someone is in enough discomfort of where they're at and they're ready to be humble and willing and wave the right flag and do whatever it takes and make uncomfortable investments, do things they might not have normally done, and they've been playing it safe, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to do the damn thing. I'm enough messing around and trying to figure this out. That's not working for me. So you know where the application is. Don't procrastinate on that because, like I said, I only take 6 people at a time. It took me 10 years, you guys, to start this dream business and podcast. I got so stuck in fear, comparisonitis, analysis paralysis, not knowing where to even start, and then getting overwhelmed and doing nothing. Time goes by crazy fast. And before I knew it, 1 year of procrastinating on my dream turned to 3, turned to 5, then to 10. Then my excuse changed to, well, maybe I'm too late to the game. Now there's so many people doing it. How insane are our egos? So here's what I would do. And I'm going to bottom line it for you of what I would have done, what I would do differently starting from scratch. Number 1, I would not wait until I felt magically ready. I was waiting for that all that time, like where I just would have this knowing, or I would get such a clear, undeniable sign. That time never comes. You've got to do it whether you feel ready or not. It just never comes. You can ask most parents and they say, like, don't wait till you're ready to have a kid. You're never going to be like really ready or prepared enough for it. And that's not to say don't be irresponsible. Like if you're 16, please wait, right? If you are in mountains of debt, probably should wait to have a kid, right? So don't take it so literally in that sense. But for 98% of you, if you keep waiting till you're ready, you're going to just end up being in a sea of regret. And you're going to eat up so much energy because you're going to be watching people online. You're going to be, having dreams of things. You're going to be hating where you're currently working or how your life currently looks. And you'll be spending so much mental bandwidth on those wheels turning constantly and not being fulfilled and not being happy. My God, imagine if you put that energy in just to doing the damn thing. That's what I would have told myself. I wasted so much time, you guys. And the dream never left my heart. I'd be in anguish over it. Sometimes I would not think about it. Other times it would come back. Oh my God. If I just put all that energy that I was burning that went nowhere into building, wow. I'd have a big empire by now. Second thing, instead of thinking I had to come across like polished, poised, and smart for people to respect me and buy from me, I would show up as is from day one. The real, raw, messy, weird, and unfiltered me. I didn't know. I had never had a personal brand before. My other company is B2B. So it's a very different deal. I had no idea. And a personal brand, people are buying from you. They have to like, respect, and trust you in order to buy any of your products or assets. Even if I had a jewelry line, but I was the designer of the jewelry, or I had a clothing line, I was the designer or curator of that, or I owned a shop and I was the curator of the items in the shop. you're going to get a hell lot of more customers if someone really likes, knows, and trusts the owner. Same with a restaurant. My favorite restaurant here in Manhattan Beach is, of course it is, I didn't know this, but it is female entrepreneur owned. It's her first restaurant. She's freaking awesome. And because she is always there working it, comes around, asks people how their food is, has true conversations with her patrons, it makes me feel so welcomed and so happy and excited to spend my money there. And it's not cheap, nor should it be, because it's top quality. It makes me happy to hand her my money and happy to go in there and happy to refer people there. She makes so much more money for doing that because I like, know, and trust her. I have great respect for her. You see what I mean? And she shows up totally as herself. It's not like she's like robotic and comes out or pretends to be super pretentious and has a mystique to her because she owns this very cool European cafe. That wouldn't have vibed with me. But I didn't know that when I started, right? I came on as newscaster Tiff. I came on as a filtered version of myself. I wasn't fake, but I was filtered. I don't think any of you guys are being fake. You're just being a filtered version of yourself. One, it's less vulnerable. Showing up really as you is, and then if people reject you or don't buy from you or criticize you and you're showing up as you, oof, that stings. And you're showing the world and oh wow, it's a lot. It you don't get to, people are like, how did you get to that zero fucks given zone? It didn't happen overnight. I had to rip that Band-Aid off slowly. It's not possible to rip it off all at once. It's just not. It had to be ripped off slowly, but I did have a pivotal moment where I was like, this is not fun for me, like showing up as this filtered version of myself. It's a lot of work. You know, it's almost like you're treading water versus floating on the water, right? Like treading water, is it super hard? It's not super hard, but you do it long enough, it is exhausting, right? And it started feeling really exhausting and it was ruining my creativity. And then I didn't want to do content. I was like, wait a second, I love creating content. Like, what's happening here? I didn't start this second business for this to feel like a job. I started it because it needs to be fun and I'm going to be able to help thousands of people. And it's on my heart and soul to do this. And I was like, I know I'm showing up as like corporate Tiff, basically. And I go, okay, well, what do I have to lose by showing up totally as me on any given day and trusting that that's enough? And if the people don't like it, they don't like it. What do I have to lose? Because the people weren't really vibing the filtered version of me. You know, were people probably respecting it? Like, okay, Tiffany knows her shit. Yeah. But I was missing the trust factor. I was missing the relatability factor. I was missing the factor that makes people go, I've got to hire her. Right? You can walk by a restaurant and see it has like really cool marketing and the menu even looks great. And it looks like it has a vibe to it. And you're like, I want to try, you know, you'll say, I got to try that place sometime, or we need to try that place sometime. But then there's restaurants that you hear of or you walk by where you're like, I want to go in there right now. And there's an energy to it. There's something je ne sais quoi about it. That's the je ne sais quoi, which is, I know my French accent's terrible. You don't know what it's like the it factor. You don't know what it is, but they've got it. You all have it. It's you. You're your own it factor. And I don't care if you're boring. I don't care if you're a nerd. It doesn't matter. You all have it just for simply being you. That's why your partner's with you. That's why you have friends that adore you. Even if you have one friend, it's for being you. That's what people want. That's what they're going to lean into. That's who they're going to buy from. The third thing, I would start building my email list sooner. I was so fixated on getting followers. I was the person who was like, I've got to get to 10,000 because then 10,000 is when you got the swipe up I was reading all this stuff that once you get to 10,000, then people will start paying you to post. It was like this magical 10,000 follower thing. I was so fixated on it and working so hard to get these followers. If I had put that energy into getting people's emails, I would have made a lot more money sooner and faster. I'm not saying it's not important to build your audience and get high quality followers, but you don't own Instagram. You don't own Facebook. You don't own TikTok. You don't own Pinterest. You don't own these things. Now, technically, you don't own someone's email address, but no one can take your list away from you. People can unsubscribe, which they will, but no one can take your list away from you. And the reason I didn't start my list until the end of 2019 and then still didn't put that much energy into it really until, I don't know, probably 2020, is because I'm not a big email reader. I mean, it's rare I want to read someone's emails. That shit better be really good. And so I'm like, God, we all get enough emails. Who's going to want an email from me? But what I turned that into is, well, what can I create an email that will make my people be super excited to not just subscribe, but read it? I don't care if you subscribe to my list, but I need you to read it. I want you to read it. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? It's like someone following you, but never engaging with your content and never buying from you. Well, what's the point? Like, cut the dead weight. So I created my list, The Secret Posse, to where you get exclusive content on millionaire mindset exercises, affirmations, stories, and tips, stuff to really get you in the abundant mindset state and keep you in that state. Plus you get exclusive offers from me in there, but it's content you won't get anywhere else from me. And they're designed to be short and impactful. And you get an email once a week from me. So if you want to see an example of a high converting list that people don't want to unsubscribe from, in fact, they want to open and read the emails, go check it out. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/secret posse. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/secret posse. And then you can get an idea of, oh, wow, like, you deliver the goods. Yeah. Does it take us extra time and resources to deliver exclusive content, high value, great content? Yeah, it does. But it's worth it because otherwise you wouldn't read it. You might not even sign up. Maybe you'll sign up, but you wouldn't even read it. So what's the point? But I would have started that sooner and have put the same energy I was obsessing about and fixated on getting more followers. If I'd put the energy on being obsessed and fixated on getting more high quality emails or even starting the damn list, oh my God, I bet you my revenue would be double by now. Number 4, no way would I go try to build something alone without high quality help. No. What's crazy is I was already an entrepreneur for 10 years before I started this, and I've learned so many entrepreneurial lessons the very hard way, many of which I teach you guys now. And I should have known better, but my ego took over and I did not have, I had a business coach at the time. I'm now with a different coach because he was not in the online space. So he was great for my other business. And he's $10,000 a month. I mean, it was a high level coach because I only hire the best. And he was not familiar with personal branding. That wasn't his jam. And I probably didn't share much with him about it. If I had, maybe he would have directed me differently. But I thought, well, it's a personal brand, so it's about me, so I've got to kind of do it myself. And I knew I was going to eventually hire people. I mean, I hired a web designer and a graphics person, and I got a brand photo shoot and all that. But I should have hired a top coach in the personal branding space, in the podcast space, before I even started. That's what I would have done differently. Here I spent heavy money on my ProjectME TV. Doing that, didn't make $1 off that. I spent all this money on a brand photo shoot, which I don't regret that. Totally necessary. I spent a lot of money on getting a website designed. Also don't recommend that. That's not necessary to start at all. It would have been better for me to have used those funds to hire a top coach in the personal branding and podcasting space. That would have saved me so much time, energy, and money from making more mistakes. And not that I wouldn't make some mistakes anyway, right? Because you're meant to make mistakes in order to have massive success that's required. But I would have been way ahead of it. And I didn't do it. I already had a coach. I've had a coach for so many years. I've been an entrepreneur. Like, how different can this be? Very different. That's like when I get those of you who have brick and mortar businesses, or you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an accountant, you're a realtor, and you want to get leads, clients, and cash as a revenue stream online, or you're looking to build a passive revenue stream using the interwebs. And it's like, well, I already have a business. Like, I should be able to figure this out. It's like, no, it's totally different. It's completely different. It's apples and oranges. So that was insanity of me. I would have also hired and I don't mean like a full-time employee, but I would have hired a regular contract worker. I hope you guys can't hear that because it's annoying. If you can, I'm sorry. It's a holiday weekend here. I'm going to have to pull him inside. I'll be back. This is why recording on a Saturday is usually not recommended here at the beach. It's like 75 degrees outside. Don't hate me for those of you who live in the tundra, the cold tundra land. So I would have hired like a regular contract worker to do all the design, graphics, all that stuff, web design and tech for me before I even created it. You don't need to have like a full-blown website, but you do need to have landing pages at the very least. But I would have hired that to start because the amount of time and energy that I put into stressing about techs and keep saying, I'm not a tech person. I hate tech. Instead of just having someone do it for me, I resisted really going all in. I held myself back by not having that person. And so again, wasted more time and energy. And what is time and energy? Time and energy is money. We can't get time back. We can get our energy back for the most part, but not always. We can't get our time back. And you guys waste a lot of time, a lot of mental energy on stuff when if you had just paid someone, it would go away. You got to think about that differently. I can be a cheap ass sometimes and not do it. I no longer am. I've learned from those mistakes, which is why I'm sharing them with you today. I'm in a spot, right, where, and I've shared in other episodes, where I've hired people before I did the thing. That's what I started doing I started it in 2021 and I'm continuing it in 2022. Hiring the people before the thing. A lot of you think, oh, well, I'll hire Tiffany once I have the course created or once I have my niche figured out or whatever. No, because then we have to redo it. I love when you guys come to me. I mean, I have 2 levels of my program. I have my 2-month private business coaching program for people who are just starting at 0. And you're at about I would say 10 to 12,000 a month consistently. You're past that marker. I have a different level of my private coaching program I put you through, because when you want to scale from multiple 6 figures to high multiple 6 figures and then 7, there's a more, for lack of a better term, elaborate strategy that's required. For me to get you from 0 to even 15,000 a month, even 0 to 20,000 a month, it's very straightforward what I teach you. And you can pull that off by doing it yourself with some help from contract workers, without a doubt. But it's amazing when people come to me and they're like, well, I probably should be further along to work with you. And it's like, no, because then we would have to redo your work and you would have wasted time, energy, and money on doing that. And we would end up redoing it anyway. I spend so much time repackaging programs, branding, everything from people who are stuck at even a $15,000 a month marker. And it's like, why am I stuck at this? Why am I stuck at this? Why am I stuck at this? Or why am I busting my ass just to be at $8,000 a month? Like, I'm killing myself to be here. I'm killing myself to be at $5,000 a month. It's not coming with any sort of ease. Like, I'm available for working hard, but it shouldn't be this hard. Yes, because you don't have a system set up properly, and your content is not set up to be profitable, to do the selling for you so you don't have to. So it's selling for you around the clock while you're busy doing other things. So it's good when you hire people ahead of time. But I had to take my own advice. And it's scary. That's the catch. It's scary to do that because you don't have the money coming in from the thing yet to so-called justify spending the money. Well, that's why business is a risk. That's why there's business loans. In business, you have to spend the money before you make the money. It's just how it works. That's how advertising works. All these ads you see for the Super Bowl or for the World Cup, they're taking a gamble. There's no guarantee in advertising. They are spending the millions of dollars in hopes that they're going to see some kind of return back. So that's on a big level, but this is how it works. You have to spend the money and you have to take the risk and stack the odds in your favor that there's going to be a return. And the other option is to keep poking around, toe dipping, and doing it on your own, and then wasting all that time and then end up in regret and wish you started sooner like I did. 10 years. And that's really up to you. And you're not going to feel ready. And you're not going to feel comfortable. And you're not going to know what the hell you're doing. And you're going to feel weird. And you're going to feel awkward. And that's all part of it. And it's supposed to be there. But I wanted you to hear what I would do if I had to start from the bottom all over again. And that's my bottom line, clear-cut advice. Do with it what you want. I hope you take action on it. It's that showing up regardless, you guys. That is one thing that I did, even though I made all these mistakes and had to learn a lot of things the hard way. I kept showing up regardless. Yeah, I would yell and vent that I want to quit and this is horrible and I don't want to do this anymore, but I'd still show up. I might take a day to lick my wounds, but I'd still show up. I still showed up. You keep showing up. You have people who have done it before you help you. You invest in yourself. You invest in your dreams. You invest your time, your energy, your mental bandwidth, your financial life, your heart, your vulnerability. It's a damn risk, but the risk pays off. And what's the cost of not taking the risk? What's the cost of you staying exactly where you're at today and you're in this for the rest of the year? What's the cost? What's it going to cost you? Mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, financially. What's it going to cost you? And if you're okay with that cost, that's fine. If you're not, now it's time to do something about it. Love you guys so much. I just want to see you be able to cash in on doing something you love that fulfills you, and have your kids or have your family or those you care about or other women or other people around you be able to see what you're capable and what you're able to do. All of you have it in you. Most of you are smarter than me. I promise you that. Most of you are more organized than me. I really promise you that. I know without a doubt if I was able to do it, my lazy ass, I know you can, especially with having my clear-cut guidance. So you want to apply for my March applications for my 2-month private business coaching program. Swipe up, link is in the show notes, or go to my bio on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.